So that leads me to the story. So my friend, this is like probably 20 years
Pull the
ago
Harvey
now.
Weinstein.
Yeah, but about 20 years ago, I tell my friend who I know has an inclination towards being dominant and being with submissive girls. I'm like, how do you meet those girls? And he's like, oh, there's a website. And I'm like, oh, tell me about it. I don't remember the name of the website, but I go there to sign up. Yeah, I don't remember which one. It was 20 years ago, man. I don't fucking know. It's like dominate my pussy. Well, I don't know. What anyway? So I sign up for it, and I check off the things that I'm interested in. And the only message I ever got was from another guy who wanted me to fuck his wife, and she was submissive. And I'm like, all right, yeah, I might be down with that. Can you send pics or whatever? Here's a pic of me, so you really know what you're getting into. Because my profile pic again gave a pretty good idea of what you're working with, but I wanted to make sure they knew. And he's like, no, you are perfect. Here's pictures of my wife. She was hot, but here's some naked pictures of my wife. Let me tell you, man, I can't wait to do this. She loves humiliation play. And I'm like, what? And so the goal was he wanted me to fuck his wife because of what a fat, disgusting piece of shit I was. And she would not be attracted to me at all. And he would find it disgusting, but she would be willing to please me to please him. And that was their kink. And I'm like, fuck that. I have enough self-esteem to where fuck you, right? If you'd not told me that, that would have been cool. But now that I know, I have too much self-respect.
You see a lot of that on like Tinder and Plenty of Fish or whatever the other sites are, where it'll be like open relationship, where they say like, oh, I'm in an open marriage or whatever, which I guess just means you can fuck whoever you want. But I have never pursued any of those. But I wanted, like, if I ever got to like the last block of that progress, I feel like I'd have to ask like, so he's not coming, right? Or he's not going to be there.
Oh, he's coming.
Right? Like, this is he's not going to be
in the corner on the ficus,
right? Because can you imagine something worse than like going over to some, married woman's house, and it's moral because she says open relationship in her Tinder profile, and then some man is just sitting in the corner, and it's too late to back out,
right?
Because he has a gun.
Bravo. Yeah,
so when I'm like 25 or 26, maybe it was a lot sooner. I think this is like 2006, 2007. But I met a girl on, again, another one of these websites, and she came into the local gaming store that I was like part-time working at, and I got to know her, and like she was in an open marriage, but again, she had like a monstrous rack, just like fucking, just right. It was my weakness, right? And she came in with them full on display. Every nerd in the place lost her mind. I got her to stick around after we shut the place down, took her out for coffee, and she's like, so, me and my husband are swingers. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, he's pretty open-minded with me doing whatever. And I'm like, that's great. And she's like, we also throw parties once a month or so at my house. We got a nice hot tub, and we'd love it if you came. And I'm like, that's cool. I'd like to meet some other open-minded people. And
just don't
I'm like,
fill it up too high.
Like, you don't feel too negatively about all this, And she's like, no, not at all. There's a few other people of size, there's, whatever. And I'm like, I'm mostly into, girls with your kind of body. She's like, oh, I'm kind of into you. And I'm like, yay. So we didn't really do anything that night. I got to see her tits, but that was about it. I got to touch them. That was about it. And so then for my birthday, I'm posting on MySpace. Is MySpace still back then? Posting on MySpace. It's my birthday. Look for something to do. And she's like, hey, why don't I pick you up? And I have my up at noon. So she comes and picks me up, and we go to her place. And again, we just like sit and talk for a little while. And she's like, yeah, I got a really wild night planned for you. And then like 3 o'clock rolls around, and her husband walks through the door and is like, hey, I'm home. Is this Steve, the guy you were telling me about? And I noped the fuck out of there. I was like, all right, this is too much. Like, I don't want to meet the husband. I don't want to know anything about the husband. I thought he was out of town or something. Fuck this. And yeah, I couldn't do it. It was too weird.
Yeah, that would be very odd.
Whatever. Just move straight ahead. We know somebody who's definitely into that. It's
yeah, but
Kyle,
everybody.
What would your reaction be, Kyle, if you showed up to an open marriage lady and then there's just the husband there, and he's just kind of milling about?
Yeah, I think single Woody would have fucked all of these women.
Yeah, I don't care at all. Like he can get the other end. We can double team his wife. That'd be fun. We get the high five in the middle. Like
the A formation.
I can as one of our friends likes to say, well, he's got to be there so he can eat the cum, right?
Okay, so
Christ.
Kyle, where is your limit?
It's not going to eat itself.
So are you willing to go in the front? Are you willing to go in the front while he's in the back? Are you willing to go in the back while he's in the front?
Absolutely.
I mean,
whatever. Yeah.
Are you willing? Are we talking double penetration? Are you not
Sure.
worried about dicks touching?
I don't care. No.
So if your balls touched another guy's balls while you were inside of a woman, that's not a problem for you?
That's incidental contact.
See, I couldn't do it. I've been in the same room while other men were with women, and I've been with that same woman even in the same day, and that was fine for me. But as for having any contact with her while he was with her, or vice versa, out of the question.
That's incidental contact. Got no problem with that.
Maybe this
we're
is
there
like not realistic, but I have a thought of being a news story of like local woman invites man off Tinder to fuck him in open relationship. Little did she know her husband was coming back and they weren't actually in an open relationship. The man was murdered while fucking the admittedly not too attractive wife, but he had to do it. He showed up. Like that. Doesn't that cross your mind at all? That
Chiz just
you
pointed
might
out
be
something.
that guy?
Yeah, Chiz just hit the nail right on the head. You cultivate this relationship for longer than one day, you know?
Now we're talking effort.
There's going to be some straightening out of like what's going to happen and some laying down of ground rules and such. You know, you figure out how things are going to go and you get after it.
I dated in a time where sex was much harder to come by. So some of these like things that are a deal breaker for you, I feel like are deal breakers because you get to pick and choose, right? Taylor is wildly successful on Tinder. He's achieving whatever level of success he chooses to achieve, right? Back in the day, it wasn't so easy. So it's like, all right, well, do you get to have sex? But there's a dude in the corner watching. Now, this never happened to me, but I think I would have said, not everything is perfect.
Well, keep it down.
And this kind of thing changes, like your perspective on stuff like this. The longer you go without getting laid, the more like if I didn't get laid from today until
next
March
year, right,
or April or something, and we had this conversation again, I'd be like, fuck it, let the guy invite his dad and his brothers in too. They can all sit in the corner. Like, let's just get it done. I need some release. And so you definitely get different perspectives in that way.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. And look, being hung up on something is just so lame. It's just it makes no sense to me. Like to Boogie's point about nihilism, I kind of got that mindset as well. Like we're only here for this short little limited amount of time. Nobody will remember any of us in like 100 years. We're dust in the fucking wind, man. Like a fucking bad 70s song.
They'll still be dragging out FPS Russia clips for every mass shooting.
Maybe.